Okay, so this is just a quick recap video of how to graph using Google Sheets. So we've got a little problem here that we're going to solve and graph this data. So our problem here is Mr. Wilson is running sprints outside his house to stay in shape during the coronavirus outbreak. It's been a while since he's run sprints, so he's trying to get back in shape. In order to see if his training is working, Mr. Wilson is keeping track of how fast he is running in two different ways. First, he is graphing the distance he runs versus the time he runs, and below is his data. So let's help him graph. So you can see here that I have X, Y, and Y above my column. So all that means that was just a reference for me. I know that time is going to be graphed on my X axis, and distance, both of these points are going to be graphed on the Y axis. So those are going to show up as two different lines. So in order to graph, we need to highlight this data. Before we actually graph, though, I want to point a couple things out. So we can see that the distance on Monday after 6 seconds was at 28 meters, and his distance on Friday after 6 seconds was at 30 meters. So we can tell already that by the end of the week, he was running a little bit faster. So we have the entire table highlighted. You want to include that row with all of the titles in it too. So once you have that highlighted, you're going to come up here and click Insert, and then you'll click Chart. Once that pops up, it'll actually just bring your graph up immediately. The first thing I want you to do is come over here to Customize, click on Chart and Axis Titles. Make sure it is on Chart Title, and we want to delete everything on there because we title our charts a very specific way. So we are going to title it the relationship between the independent variable and the dependent variable. So in this case, our independent variable is time, and our dependent variable is distance. So it'll be the relationship between time and distance run. So you can see it immediately adds your title to the graph. Another thing I want you to do is if you look over here at your y-axis, we don't have a title. So down here on our x-axis, it says time in seconds. We have 0, 2, 4, and 6 seconds down there. But I want to have a title over here too. So I'm going to come over here. They call it the vertical axis title. It's just the y-axis. So click on that. And we are going to title that distance in meters. And you'll see that it adds that label for you over there. So he went all the way up to 30 meters at the end of the time on Friday. So we know that that is labeled correctly. So that is how we do our graph for time versus distance, distance versus time. Check out the next video and we are going to talk about how to graph time versus speed.